Hello and welcome to today's video from the estate on Wednesday the 28th of January 2026, and today I'm going to talk about the death of democracy. Now, we all know democracy was a word invented by the Greeks to let you think you had a say in what was going on, when in reality you have no say at all. Now, democracy, he was a soldier in the Greek city-state of Athena, and he'd been a soldier most of his adult life. And when they finally subdued all of the other city-states in Greece, he decided that he wanted a say in what was going on, and he asked for an audience with the king, who was called Damocles. And when he got there, after bowing and getting on his hands and knees, the king asked him what did he want, and he came out with it and said, I want a say in what goes on in Athens and Greece, seeing as though I've been a soldier in your army most of my adult life, and I fought in every battle. And the king said, oh, do you now? And killed him. Point blank, just killed him. And democracy became a word in Greek meaning, for better watch out what you wish for, because it will only lead to your death. Does that sound believable? Maybe, maybe not, but the fact is, I just made that up. And I made it up to kind of give you a taste of what democracy is. It's nothing, it's just a word. And it became part of the English language sometime after the Second World War, when we needed to let the people know that we beat the National Socialists of Germany, the Nazi Party, because we were democracies. If we were, we'd have all been dead. But democracy, as it is known today, is dying. In fact, it's dead. It's in its coffin. All it needed was the lid nailing down. And Trump, the American president, has been not only the nails, but the hammer to put the nails in the coffin. And then, once he'd buried it, he thought, that's not good enough. So he exhumed it and then cremated it. And then what did he do? He threw the ashes off the coast of Venezuela, just to make sure that democracy was dead. And all these countries that proclaim to be democracies are exactly what they say, the death of people, because that's all democracy does. It just gets involved in wars that it has no reason to fight, and it ensures the death of hundreds of thousands of people, innocent people, civilians, women, children, and that's democracy. If democracy was anything else, we'd all be driving around in sports cars, we'd all have second homes, yet they only belong to the select few. And the select few are the people who try to convince us, or who do convince people, that democracy is alive and well in the Western Hemisphere, when the truth be told, democracy died not just a lingering death, which it did, but when the end came, it came suddenly. And by the time you realise that democracy was dead, it was too late. Now, look at England. England, via our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, has told the world that we, as a nation, have had freedom of speech for at least a century, when in reality there is no freedom of speech, and there never has been. Anyone who spoke out about anything was just quietly subdued, taken to a court and imprisoned, where they had no chance of explaining to the world that democracy does not exist. Russia is a democracy. China is a democracy. Iran is a democracy. Even Venezuela is a democracy. Even now. You know why? Because it allows people to vote. Even though your vote means nothing, you're still allowed to vote. Now, Starmer knows that the future of the Labour Party is dead. So what do? When that happens, you cancel elections. Now, up to now, he's cancelled 29 local elections. Now, most of them were Conservative-run councils, Liberal Democrat-run councils, but to carry on doing that, it would have looked too shady. So he decided to throw a few Labour ones in as well. Now, we're 4 months away from local elections, and already we've lost 29. By the time elections come round, it could be 58, could be 116. The number could be any, but the result is the same. Labour stays in power. Now, did anyone hear about Keir's 10-year plan? How can any Prime Minister with a 5-year term come out with a 10-year plan? The only way you could do it is knowing full well that there will be no election. And without an election, the Prime Minister stays in power. We've seen it in Europe. We've seen it everywhere. But what we haven't seen is the outcome. And the outcome is going to be as bad as a nuclear war. Why do I say that? I say that because the people who run governments in Europe, in any democratised country, they're all waiting to die. Not physically, but institutionally. All the democratic institutions, they will all die. And when they die, what comes next? Civil war. Now, there's a few countries that do not run to the Western idea of democracy, and that is India, China, Russia, Iran, and them countries, they have a lot of resources, and they also have 2/3 of the world's population, and with ginormous populations come ginormous tax returns. Tax returns are what keep countries running smoothly. The West, we're dying. Not, again, physically, but our birth rates are plummeting. Our population centres are diminishing. And eventually, we won't have anything other than funerals for our public institutions. Most of this, what's happening today in the world, is being caused by the war in Ukraine. The war in Ukraine, as I said in my previous video, is not Russia at war with Ukraine, it's Ukraine at war with Russia. And it is at war at the behest of every other Western government. 29 European countries support the war in Ukraine. Well, I say 29. 29 countries back sanctions, but 27 specifically back the war in Ukraine. And this war in Ukraine will not end until there is nuclear war. Eventually, someone's going to be fed up and they're just going to put the finger on the button. And the most likely candidate for that is President Donald J. Trump, the coward. I call him a coward because, unlike most Americans, when called upon to fight in the Vietnam War, apart from Muhammad Ali, went to war. They went to Vietnam. Nearly 60,000 never came back, and 5 times as many came back physically injured, and probably 75% came back mentally injured. And the amount of suicides and murders and homelessness and imprisonment of the veterans that came back skyrocketed. After the Second World War, we've seen the rise of Hells Angels, biker gangs who loved the open road. They loved being able to basically, they was able to do what they wanted when they wanted, just like they did when they was fighting Germany in the skies above Europe, because that's where most biker gangs got their members from. They was all ex-Air Force, ex-Army, commandos, what have you, but that's where they got most of their members from. Their members had nothing. They came back with nothing, and the only thing they had was the camaraderie what the group they was in gave them. Just like the only people they got to know were the people who they flew with in their flying fortresses or their Lancaster bombers, and as you can tell, they've just got bigger and bigger. Now it is a worldwide organisation. Now, I can imagine you wondering, what am I going on about here? What I'm going on about is people like me who, as I previously said, we are on the bottom rung of the ladder. There's nowhere for below us except hell, and we're living on the outskirts of hell, which is just basically hell, but with a bit of grass in between. And we will be the ones who suffer the most after the death of democracy. When elections come in France, they've already ruled out the leader of their Front National Party, Marine Le Pen, through fraudulent use of EU funds. Yet every person in the European Parliament and in every parliament around the world commits fraudulent offences with government money. Not that they're not given enough money to start with, they're given more than enough, but they still want more. We, the people below, we're just happy with enough to survive. Yeah, we'd love to be rich. Who wouldn't love to win the lottery? Everyone would. But the fact of the matter is, even the lottery's a scam. You know, like comic relief, like sport relief. I wonder how much money they have in the bank. I wonder if anyone could tell me. If you could, please leave a comment below and I will get back to you with a thank you. And also, this is my first time using what do you call it? What we're on now? Social media. I don't know how to use social media for my benefit. All I know is that I can speak into my camera and I can upload it to YouTube, and I'm not doing it for money. The chances of me earning money from what I say, it's less than the chances of me winning the lottery. So if anyone could help me, I would not only appreciate it, but I would include them in videos and I would thank them continuously in videos. Is that democracy? Or is that selfishness? See, that word again, democracy, it means nothing, does it? You know, put 5 people in a room, 4 of them will gang up on one, 3 might gang up on 2, but whichever way you look at it, they will gang up on each other. And then before you know it, war breaks out. Anyway, I'm digressing. We're talking about the death of democracy. And when democracy is dead and buried and then exhumed and cremated again, because it's already happened once, maybe it will be resurrected. I doubt it, but it could just be that it is. And if it is, then we won't be around to see it. So, thank you for listening to this short video. And if anyone could help me with the answer to how much money some of these sport relief and comic relief have, or could help me somehow make these videos better, could help me pick topics that you would like to hear from the estate, then I would gladly appreciate your help. So thank you again for listening to me rant on for a bit, and goodbye until the next time. Take care, and I will see you soon.